Oh, there it is. The deadliest prey. Hakuna Matata! Not on my watch!
Have you guys seen my friends?
I have no idea. And not knowing's half the battle.
Robo don't know.
You boys done messed up. Okay, people, today let's take a quick look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Gnawgahyde, Porkbelly, and Yobbo. Yobbo? What do you mean it's been out for a little while? Does that matter? No, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna open some new toys, see what's going on here. Special thanks to Big Bad Toy Store for sending this out a few weeks ago. It's been a little bit, but there's been other stuff get in the way. Plus, I've been kind of skipping around with G.I. Joe Classified Series. I haven't been buying it all, which is not a bad thing. In fact, that's how I'm collecting most of my lines these days. All of my lines. I'm not buying, I'm not a completist. I don't need every single figure coming out. But some of the G.I. Joes I've skipped, I go back and look at the pictures and think, man, that sure is cool. So this may be just the tip of the iceberg. There may be a G.I. Joe Classified Series Playdate on the way if I do some catching up. We will see. But in the meantime, check this beauty out. There's Porkbelly, there's Yobbo, there's some weapons, there's a window, there's the new G.I. Joe type packaging. I don't know if I've opened one since they've switched to this design. Warning, choking hazard, small parts. Do not put the plastic playthings in your orifices. On the side, here's the new school file card with a picture and then these icons that you look up on the site. On the back, pretty promotional shot with some close-ups of some of the fine details. Includes figure in 16 pieces. 16 pieces, that's deluxe. And just in case you forgot, warning, small parts. On the other side, nice artwork of the trios, looking so pretty. Not a lot on top. It's number 125, there's a Cobra logo. On bottom, there's legalese barcode. G.I. Joe Classified Series is another one of those lines that does a good job of hiding reuse. Although, when you see it, you automatically go, oh, okay, that. And then some of the accessories. This body goes all the way back to Wave 1's Roadblock. It's the same arms from shoulder to hand. It's the same lower half from crotch to the soles of the feet. That oddball knee pad on the left. And then it even has the same torso. I customized the one that I cut the vest away on, but Gung Ho used that same torso and these match up. That's all fine and dandy. These two characters are different enough that you don't immediately realize the rehash. And that comes down to the new parts like the overlays and the head. Starting way down at the bottom, there's this boot strap with the pouch and the sheath for one of the knives. I can't tell you if that's reused. Like I said, I've been skipping a lot of Joes, so this may very well be from somebody else, but I wouldn't know. For me, it's Gnawgahyde's. But I gotta think this hairy, toothy wristband is specifically for Gnawgahyde. I think it's the same for the left leather bracer with those silver studs all painted, well, until you get right here. And then the silver kicks back in over here. I'm gonna guess that this is probably meant to be turned where the unpainted part is towards the back. The belt I'm also unsure of. It's kind of generic. You have the buckle on the front and then you have a couple of grenades and maybe another couple of grenades back to this sheath. So there are spots for both knives. This armband with the teeth or the claws here on the outside, all that fits with the vest and its animal print going up and around to the back. The clasps on the front, again, animal parts with some loops on the other side. Two things hanging around the neck. There's some dog tags and then there is this necklace of yet more claws or teeth or sharp, pointy animal objects. Anarchy tattoo on the left shoulder, tampoed nicely. But then there is the head sculpt, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. At a distance, this scar up on top looks like a comb over. Do not get me wrong, I am not disparaging bald people whatsoever, because I'm one of them. But between this tattoo looking like hair on the side, again, when you're back or running by on a galloping horse, and then that scar up on top, it's just like, hello, I'm going to my office job. I gotta do some accounting. My facial hair shows that I do like to party on the weekend, though. Does look like a badass up close with the photo reel, the teeth, kind of an underbite he's got going on. And the detail work is punched in great. Once you realize that that's a snake and those are claw marks, then yeah, he's been through some shit. Oh, I forgot to talk about this tattoo on this side, though. Let's line that up and get a good look at that. Again, nice and clean like all the other detail work. I have noticed when you get cranking on the neck, the stuff hanging off likes to do its own thing. So We're gonna do this. I'd like to see it without just... There we go. Oh, now it looks like he's missing something. I almost feel like there should be a necktie. Articulation, there is a hinge with a ball joint up on top at the neck. Looks up, looks down. There's a ball joint at the bottom of the neck, but there's not a ton of movement to that. Remember, this body was early classified. In fact, it was one of the first classified series bodies. Some Magic Mike action going on. But there is a butterfly joint at the shoulder, shifts forward, shifts back. Pin coming out to the shoulder, rotates around where the hinge goes up to there. Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow goes up to there. This comes down around the hand, gets in the way a little bit, but there is a swivel with a, side-to-side hinge for a trigger finger hand. This body's definitely showing its age. Hinge joint mid-torso with a ball down at the waist together. Gets some crunch, very nice. Then some arc back, some tilt, some rotation. Ball out to the hip with a drop down joint, kicks down, kicks forward, kicks back, kicks out. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee comes up most of the way. If you push really hard, he can kick his own ass. Kicking my own trophy. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle, kicks back, kicks forward, not so much, and then a front facing pin for rocker. For accessories, should I count them? There's the dog tags. There's the tooth necklace. You can take off the bracers if you feel like getting those out of the way. But like I mentioned, he does come with Lowlight's rifle in a different color scheme. Since it's Lowlight's, it does come with this carrying case, which does open up, and it's pretty apparent that you can stuff the gun in here. Place it in the case like so. Oh, okay, come on now. And then, no, still haven't got it. It almost feels like there's a warp to the gun, and it doesn't want to snap all the way. It either snaps this half or the back half. Not both at the same time. He also comes with this bow, and I am not sure if this is reuse. It almost feels Storm Shadowy or ninja of some kind. Just, again, repainted green and black to fit Gnawgahyde. There's also this quiver with a clip and a clip and a clip and 3 arrows sculpted into it. Or 3 arrows glued down into it. Because there's also a loose arrow that you can fit into the 4th slot. And there is a tightness to it. You get it to here, and it wants to say it's not going to fall out. And then this comes off, and the promo picture shows the bow being stored right here across that. And then this here. And then that plugs into Gnawgahyde's back for storage. Like I alluded to several times, he does come with 2 knives. Pretty generic. It wouldn't surprise me if these have come with other characters before. For that, there is a sheath down around the boot, and then one on the back of the belt. My Gnawgahyde's going to be armed with this crazy thing, though, the arm-mounted machete. That's just Dreadnok wacky there. And then to finish everything off and bring it together, there's the hat with even more claws or teeth or whatever. Rubbery Bendy has no problem sticking down onto his head, and once it's on there, it's gonna take some pulling to get it off. You can take it off, of course, with your regular human strength, but you get it down on there, it's not gonna fall off. Then if you put the gun case in his hand, that is all the accessories on the figure at the same time. Or you can take the gun out, plug it into his back, and then there's a hole on the outside of it to plug the sheath into that, maybe. If I could get this to close. Maybe he will be holding the rifle. Or maybe he'd be slicing stuff up. And then I hate to call them accessories. They're more his little buddies. Here's Yobbo, that is just a plastic slug. There's no articulation to it. But there is a fairly nice paint job with the lighter grays fading into darker down at the end of the limbs, a little wider for the underbelly, and then face paints. The eye, the patch, the teeth, the mouth. Just looks like a little troublemaker. It took hardly any effort at all to get him to stand up. Oh, he's popping off because I'm leaning back, but he can stand up there if you want him to. And then let's see, what else can we do? It would hold up in a display for a while. And if you get creative with the tail to hold him on, there he is on Gnawgahyde's arm. But then there is Porkbelly, and look at this magnificent creature. You don't want to be in the woods and have this pop out of the bushes. There's the nice gradients with the paint job going from lights to darks and coming across the body and underneath down to the hooves painted black. Same thing working down to the end of the tail. The mane is a separate piece from the body. It's attached all the way up here at the head, but that comes into play in a minute. Does have a silver earring to match with the stud in the tusk, and then the nose ring, and then the inside of the mouth is also painted. I love that it's the G.I. Joe classified line that just kills with animal companions. I'm gonna go over articulation. I just showed that there is a jaw joint. Do not pull too far or it pops off the bar. If you stay within range, like to here, shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. There seems to be a dumbbell joint at the end of the neck, at the skull, and then dumbbell at the base of the neck that only goes up and down. So at the head you can look a little up, look a little down, some left, some right. At the base you can raise way up, and that's the reason for this being a separate piece and rubbery. See it flexing right there? And then if you look down, it also doesn't get in the way. At the front legs there's a ball joint, so you can go out and in and then rotate around. Below that is a hinge and a hinge. Same thing for the back legs. Out and in, rotate around, hinge, hinge. That's as far as they straighten out, and that is as far as they bend in. Dumbbell mid-torso gets some side to side, and then up and down, and up and down, and up and down, and up and down. And then the tail is attached by a ball joint, so it also gets some up and down, some side to side, some rotation. Size-wise, Gnawgahyde stands at about 6.5 to the top of his head, and about 6 3/4 with the hat on, which does make him a little imposing next to other Dreadnoks. And that does mean he can go toe-to-toe with the bigger Joes like Gung-Ho and Roadblock. But if you like to mix and match universes, here it is with the Marvel Legends Vulcan and Spider-Man, in case you want to use it as kind of a modern-day, alternate dimension Kraven the Hunter type thing. Maybe he can bounty hunt across the Star Wars galaxy, or just be a random villain for Batman to take down. Yobbo is about 1.5 inches long and 1.5 inches tall. Porkbelly is about 3.5 inches tall up to the top of the mane, 1.25 inches wide shoulder to shoulder, and then about 6 3/4 from tip of the nose to tip of the tail. That puts it a little larger than Timber, but not by much. It's mostly head size that really differentiates it. But again, if you wanted to use this in the Marvel Universe, here it is next to the Build-A-Figure Zabu, or appropriately enough, the Marvel Legends Razorback.
Well, aren't you a cute little fella?
So at the end of the day, just another great addition to the G.I. Joe Classified Series shelf. It may be a lot of reuse when it comes to the body, but it is unique enough to be its own character. Is it a Dreadnok? Check. Does it look cool? Check. Does it come with animal companions? Check. Is his name actually Gnawgahyde? Check. So yeah, it fulfills everything I wanted. It's Gnawgahyde in plastic form with a kick-ass warthog and a monkey for the arm or the head or on top of Porkbelly, whatever. I will say that I miss the side-to-side joints on the ankles of Porkbelly, but those are a bit thin, so maybe that's the reason they omitted them here when we saw them with other characters like that, so I don't know. Yeah, this is definitely good enough for me to feel a tinge of regret about passing on some of the ones that I was on the fence about. Now, there's some I definitely won't go back and get. The characters that I don't know a lot about or have no attachment to, which is odd to say for someone who didn't do a lot of G.I. Joe back in the day when I was a kid. I watched the cartoon, didn't get a lot of the toys. But I have skipped some that had some kind of attachment, and that's making me really want to... Yeah, we may have to come back around really fast because I'm feeling the itch to go push some buttons and see what else they have on Big Bad Toy Store, which again, special thanks to them. If you're interested in Gnawgahyde, the link is in the description.